we're getting there. All right, looks like we're live on Facebook as well, and we're assuming that it's working on. YouTube as well. So hopefully we'll just leave a quick comment on the Facebook one and get people to join in here. Let's see, add everyone. I may have to do this in a different window. We'll try. Let's see if that works. All right. Got a couple people joining us in the Zoom room. Welcome, Christopher. Welcome, Paul. It's good seeing you guys here on a Friday. Hope week is treating you well. We got people trickling in on Facebook as well. If you're on Facebook, say hi. Let us know who's watching. It doesn't tell me who's watching on Facebook. It just says that people are. So feel free to leave a comment, say hello. Love to see everybody popping in here on Fridays. Hopefully winding down your week. So let's see here. Cool. I want to make sure that my audio doesn't pop out on the wrong. Yeah, that's going to be. I have to switch everything to my headphones here. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. If you aren't able to make these, always pop onto the Facebook group, pop onto the YouTube page. You can see those. We try to link those in the emails we send out later. So, how's it going, Christopher? You're
not too bad. And yourself?
We're doing good. How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. Can't wait. I'm going on vacation. So
nice. Anywhere fun?
Halifax and Bermuda.
Oh, nice. Where is it right now? Is it San Juan, or is it that they're like rationing water right now? I just saw that in the news, and I'm like, oh, geez, that's bad.
I hope it's a good one. So
yeah,
it leaves out of Boston, where we're out of Boston. So
okay, are you cruise or?
Yes.
Nice.
Yep, we're going on a cruise.
Very nice.
But we just wrapped up our last job for the week and getting ready to go.
Perfect. Yeah, that's definitely one of those things we try to encourage here is work hard, play hard, right, and get some R&R.
That's right.
So we definitely want you to come back, rested, ready to keep going. Give you some ideas that hopefully will stir in your brain here this week while you're on your trip. We got a few people over on Facebook. So today, David is not able to make it, so I'm taking the reins. I've got a seminar that is kind of a precursor to one that I've been wanting to give for a long time, which is just, getting what you're worth in this industry. But in the meantime, this is kind of the prequel to that, and it's going to be about how we can make more on every job. And obviously, there's a lot of ways that we can make more. I'm going to hit it from 3 different angles today, and we'll talk about things that I see that can be done. But I want this absolutely to be a conversation. So at any point in time, as you're hearing stuff, whether you're on Facebook, you want to chime in on YouTube. I see all those comments as they pop in on both YouTube and on Facebook and in the chat here. So you can either leave it in the chat, you can just interrupt me, and I love getting your opinions on if you've got an idea that it spawns another idea from something I said. If something I said is complete BS and you want to call me out on it, well, let's have some fun. My Boston friends will have no problem So some of my most honest friends are in New England, and we've got the Midwest nice, and I was not used to meeting all my friends from New England, and who literally just spar with one each other, and then they're buying each other a beer and having a great day, and, like, they're best friends, but they have no problem letting each other know where they stand on something. So I'm gonna get into it. We'll blow through this here real quick. I've got some stuff that's kind of been ruminating in my head and ideas that I think that will help you guys. The premise is here. We want to make more money on every job that you do. So we've got 10 ideas here that you can implement. If you get one, let's just do math here. How many of you guys are doing more than in your company, you're doing more than 100 jobs, in a year? How many of you are doing 500 a year? How many are your companies doing 1,000 in a year? If I can figure out a way for you to make $50 more on 1,000 jobs or on 100 jobs, right? It's the same job, right? It's the exact same job. It gives you the opportunity to, on 1,000 jobs, you can make $50,000 more. That may even create even more opportunity, because what can you do with 50,000? Maybe you can get another person in the office to answer more phones, do more marketing, get another truck, get another crew out. So that's what we're doing. We're looking for these small incremental changes that we can make that will, net us $50, $100, $500 more on a job, because it's something, we're already there. So hopefully, Christopher, you can see the on my window, you can see the PowerPoint, right?
I see the make more money on every job.
Perfect. All right. That's what I'm looking for. I know that they could see it on Facebook and on YouTube. So keeping an eye out on that. So there's three ways that I believe that you can make more money on each job. Obviously, just actually make more, right? Like actually charge more or do something else, increase the revenue that on the job that you're already doing. So if you are on a job, I'm going to give you some ideas of things that you can do on that job and make more. The second kind of path we're going down is efficiencies and ways to work faster. So if you can reduce your crew hours, that's going to create capacity for the next job. So if you can shave off an hour on a job, or shave off a half an hour, or those things that we can do, those are going to accumulate. And how long an average job is going to take you. If it takes you 5, 6, 7 hours or 4 hours or whatever it is, depending on the size of your crew, then you can absolutely shave off enough time in order to add another job, or do something else with that time. And then the last thing that is a way of making more money is by spending less. So when we're going to talk about this, going to be just kind of a bonus thing where we talk about ways to acquire the next customer by not spending as much money. So on the make more money per job prong of it, we already said this, increase the value of the job that you're already doing, and the easiest and additional revenue, it comes with the customer that you've already spent money acquiring. That is a different topic on a different day. But if you don't know what the cost of an acquisition of a customer is, that's something, give me a call. We'll work through it. But you need to know when you're looking at your profit and loss and what your profit is per job. Then if you're doing a job that's averaging, you take all your jobs, divide it by how much you make, and divide it by the number of jobs. Let's say you're making $1,500 a job, on average. And if you took that number of jobs, you look at your marketing spend, the things that you do just to acquire a customer. Divide that by the number of jobs. If it's $125 a job, well, yeah, you're spending $1,375, or that's your profit, or you're spending that $125. So what can we do? If you're already there, you've already paid that money, you're already on the site. You're already at the house. What else can you do that creates value for the customer? It's not just simply charging more. It's what can you do that the customer will appreciate. So here's where we're going to start going through our tips here. Here's number one. So first thing, if you're not already doing this, there are upgrades and there are aesthetics that you can do inside of the job. Yes, those of you in the radon mitigation industry, I know a lot of you do other things, whether you do air quality, some of you are, plumbers or HVAC or whatever, and this is division of what you're doing. If you are solely a radon mitigation company, I'm sorry, you chose the industry that has the least number of fun upgrades. It's just kind of where we're at, but there are things that we can do if you're not already offering these. So like, what are the simplest things that you can do really quick? Like you can offer a muffler, right? You can offer a cover for the fan. Now, some of you are thinking that, man, that cover takes up so much space in the truck or the trailer, right? Well, you can offer that. You take one, right, with you, have one in the truck, and offer it if you have the person there. Obviously, you can just hold it up and say, hey, this is what it looks like once it's on. You can send those pictures ahead of time, let them see the difference in that. That right there should be a $50, upgrade, $100 upgrade, or in profit, right? So the cost of that cover, the time it takes you to install it, figure out what your man hour is to install it, what it takes. Now, that is an easy one. A muffler is an easy one. Let's talk about the harder ones, but you're already there, right? Let's talk about routing, right? So these people want it to go through the neighbor's house. They don't want it in theirs. They want it to go down underground and go up through, we get it. You should have a price for that. Like, know what is it worth to you if you're there. And also, I'm going to give you a caveat. There are things that you should know that you don't do, right? And if you've got if you have somebody who is wanting something so crazy that you can't charge enough to make it worth your time, or if let's use some examples on what you think your profit per job is. Let's just use, you're doing a $1,500 job, and that with your labor, materials, everything, that you're going to make $750, right? Whatever it is. Let's say you're at $750. So if you could do that job in 4 hours. So every 4 hours you can make $750. If you are there and that client says, yeah, we want this thing to route, around the side of the house and up the side and through underneath the pool and whatever, right? And you go, okay, well, geez, that's going to be $1,000 for us to do that. And the customer's like, yeah, that sounds fine. Do it. And you start doing your math on that, and those 4 hours end up costing you $750 or $500 in labor or materials to make that happen. Well, you only made $500. You could have gone and done another job and made $750. So you got to know what those, everyone has that I don't want to do it price. Make that out of control so that you make sure that it's always more than getting to the next job and getting paid if it's that close. My suggestion is have that list of things that are like, hey, this is, a muffler, nothing. Hey, we can put a better dranger in, or a cycle or a volcano or whatever, like those kinds of thing that makes a difference. Upgrades on sump lids, right? Some people want a clear lid. Some people want a viewport, whatever it may be. Some of those things you've heard me say, these are selling points, and these are the things that you're throwing in to get the job. So know what those things are that you can have, as an a la carte, whatever. You don't want to be nickeling and diming the customer, but when they have a brown house and you are running a white pipe up the side of that brown house, that is an upgrade that they would appreciate. Now, and we're going to talk about this later, but if you get to that house and that you can get the color from them, they've got a can of that paint in their garage, and you can make that look nice. That is not a hard thing to do. And so those kinds of upgrades, super important. Anything that you can make it cleaner, anything you can make it less visible, anything that you can do as an add-on to the aesthetics of the job you're doing. Yes, it is easy to just go out this, run your suction point out this wall. But if you spent, an extra 30 minutes and you spend another 25 feet of pipe, you can run it down another wall where it's going to go right behind the HVAC, and it'll look way nicer. So that's the kind of stuff. You can run it through the rafters. You can run I've seen a lot of jobs where these guys are, you're doing J hooks and in these short basements, it's hitting you in the head. You could take the time and you could put it into the rafters, make it look nice. And that stuff that when we get to that bonus, how do we get more jobs? That's where we're at, right? So that's the aesthetics and the upgrades that you can do. These are little. I mean, I'm talking, some of them are $25 upgrades if it takes you a minute. If it's a minute job, I want $25. If it's an hour job, it's $200. It's $250, whatever it may be, because we got to pay your person, and you should know what your crew. If you have a crew of 4 guys there, like, what does it cost to keep them there 1 extra hour, or 1 extra half an hour, or 15 minutes? That is 1 crew hour. What does it cost? So know those numbers. And again, those of you that are getting started with this, you don't have the data, talk with somebody like me that we can get, into your business, and we can start looking at this stuff, and we can really get these, because when you have those numbers, now you're able to get into a spot where you can actually make profit, because you know what you should be charging, you know what you should be doing, you know what to anticipate for the stuff that's going to break, all that kind of stuff. And and I'm going to get you connected with, whether it's David Smith or somebody else, who we're going to just look at stuff and go, hey, you haven't thought about this. Let's look at this stuff. I
came up then with about $50 fully burdened for a guy.
Yeah.
Per hour. And so a fully burdened guide, because a lot of people aren't thinking about insurances.
That's it.
There are all kinds of things, whether it be your workers' comp, your liability. I know my liability in the Radon just went up $2,200. I was paying roughly $1,800 for insurance.
Yeah. They
just gave me a bill for $4,900.
Yeah. Yeah, it's out of control. In my business, the way that I am able to, do all the things that we do with ranking people at the top of Google and all the, competitor analysis and all that kind of stuff, my software costs are my wife is looking at our business budget. She's like, do you need this thing that costs, $250 a month? I'm like, actually, I need the package that goes up to $600 a month. So I know you're trying to cut money, but you just reminded me that I got to go upgrade that one. So it's an insurance. Let's go back to, gosh, we're getting off topic here, but it's still all part of the same thing. Like training your guys, because the last thing on the planet you want is a work comp claim. Because that you think your insurance is expensive now, right. Somebody that's not following, the story that I tell everybody. When I was in college, I worked at an auto glass place, and I was just a receptionist. And the owner told me that one of his employees came in and used the belt sander, and he wasn't using it for anything related to the business. He was doing something personal, and he was doing it there on off business time. He got his hand caught in it or whatever and tore it up and blah 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 blah. And so he was on disability, and it was a huge claim. So not even a company job for the company. The guy was on private time, but he was and so your employees they're going to make that claim. And as a good employer, they get her on the job, we want you making sure that they're taken care of, but have the training to know that it's that stuff doesn't happen, right? So, all right, we're going to move on. Second thing, additional services. This is some people will love this. Some people will hate me for even bringing it up, but a lot of you guys either started out in a different trade. You are, you're a handyman by, you can fix stuff. You walk in and you walk into a house and you feel, you open up the basement door and it's jammed, right? Or, you go to wash your hands in the sink and it's leaking, right? Most of you know that you can fix that in 10 minutes, right? Something like that. Those of you who are quoting, doing on-site quotes, you can drop in. Hey, I've got 3 guys here, and we are all highly skilled, at fixing stuff. Is there anything else you think we might be able to help you out with while we're here? And we've acquired the customer. You're there. This is stuff that you can do in your sleep, and you will improve the life of of one of your customers. They are not going to hire a plumber to change out a cartridge because that cartridge is a $75, fee for a $10 cartridge plus the $150 house call, right? And when that plumber's there, he wants to go through and he wants to find 6 other things because that's what they've been trained to do. And all of a sudden they're getting a tankless water heater. So people have they really feel like they're going to get taken advantage of. And you can go, hey, listen, these cartridges are like $10. I can pick one up on the way, when I'm at Lowe's, and I'll get the right one and I'll swap it out for $25, right? Now, if it takes you 15 minutes and your crew of 3 or 4 is there, right? Christopher says it's $50 a man hour, right? That just costs you $200. So you got to know that this is you could do this while somebody else is doing something else, whatever it may be. But some small things like you can put down, you've got your caulk gun out and you know that their shower needs to be recaulked. Like, what is the thing that you could help out with and do an hour's worth of work where everybody, you can rake leaves in the backyard for $75. And there are things that you can help people out with. And you can do that for a variety of purposes. One of them is to make money. One of them, almost all of you guys are leaving the basements cleaner than you found them. That is a great bonus to what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so to me, I'm saying, add $250 to every quote. And while you're there, do something for free, and just be there for 1 extra hour. And if it costs you, if you got 4 guys, it's $50 an hour. You made $50, and your guys got an extra hour of work, and you made some, little old lady very, very happy, right? So there are things that you I literally, the bathroom door sticking is right now in my heart because my master bath door, it sticks every single day, and I'm all I have to do is take a hammer and a screwdriver upstairs and I could fix it in 10 minutes. It's been doing it for I'm really just waiting until summer's over and the humidity goes away and the door shrinks down and it's better again. That's how I'm going to fix it for 6 months. Cause I just forget to take a hammer upstairs every day. So there are a lot of things that somebody can, that you can help out with, make a few extra bucks. And the caveat there, the disclaimer, please make sure that it's within your licensing and your insurance knows that you're doing it. So please don't be doing electrical, or everyone is blindfolded while they're doing, including the homeowner. No one knows how it actually happened. It just kind of magically appeared. So make sure you're not doing that unless you're licensed and know your state and legal things. And if you're doing that kind of stuff, make sure your insurance knows that you're doing it as well. But those of you in radon mitigation, you're up on roofs. There's really not much more that you can do that you're going to hurt yourself. I guess electrical, don't jump onto 220, but that is a way that you can help people out. Some of you, obviously some of you are hiring an electrician, so that is something that you can say, hey, listen, I've got an electrician coming here. I paid him $150. You have any, outlets or things that are broken or stuff? And now you can pay that electrician. He'll give you a rate at $25 an outlet, and you can charge $35. I'm looking at $10 items here that you can make money on.
Yeah, let me interrupt on that one, Ben. We were looking at doing that. The one biggest problem is letting the customer build the customer for the electrical, and you take care of the electrical. Now you've got a subcontractor on your insurance.
Yeah.
I know in Massachusetts it's real difficult. We stay away from electrical. We tell all our customers, it's in our contracts, we will recommend a licensed electrician for you. We will not let the customer be billed by us, because I'll tell you, I know travelers in my workers comp, they give me a hard time every single year. So I stopped doing any bill throughs. I give it directly to the electrician. If the electrician wants to throw you a kickback,
Yeah.
I've got more. I've got one electrician here that's gone to more houses and have done panel changes. You know what they get for a panel change?
Yes, I do. I need one.
So they the houses in Massachusetts, in the areas that we're working, it's not a lot of new construction. They're old New England colonials, 1890s, 19010,
Yeah.
just like my house. And a lot of them have. Some of them still have knob and tube wiring.
Yep. Yeah.
So I won't get a two of the things. I'm not sure how many of my competitors are on here.
Yeah.
So not that I want to give them a leg up, but as far as your added values, one big thing that we make $250 more per job off of the Phoenix over the Maverick. If you can put a Maverick in,
Yeah.
off of the Phoenix over the Maverick, it's an additional line item of $250. We go through 45 Phoenixes before they were the EC Mavericks, and we had a lot of issues.
Yeah.
But what do you call it? The Phoenixes, we're getting an additional $250 for those because it's an added value. It's a 7-year warranty over a 5-year warranty.
Yeah.
That's how you sell it, by the warranty.
Yeah.
Not that it's a much better fan. It is a better fan. It's a brushless motor.
It's $35 a year, on that 7 years, right?
Yeah.
You break that down, it's $3 a month to have a better fan.
Yeah, and I'm getting $250 more, even though I've already charged them for the other one.
Yeah, that's great.
So from my fan alone, I'm getting $250.
Yeah.
I'm getting about $350 just for the fan.
Yep. And the customer is getting a better fan, right? I mean,
yes.
And it is a benefit to the customer, and really going into into this, whether it's the upgrades, the services, whatever, you don't know until you ask. And actually, I can't remember if I even put this on here. I think I had it on there, but oh no, I must have taken it off. I'm like, don't assume you know what your customer is willing to pay. And,
that's right.
And so, everybody's, I say this a million times. There's McDonald's, there's Chili's, and then there's Ruth Chris Steakhouse, and they all serve beef from the same cow. We don't know how hungry you are, and we don't know what you're in the mood for, and we don't know if it's your anniversary or not. So we don't know what you're willing to pay. Right. And so when you start booking that cruise and they start throwing stuff at you, right, left and right, and all the different stuff you could do, they're just going to put it out in front of you. You can decide whether you want it or not. And you still get the cruise, but you could do a million excursions. Right.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. And my son actually taught me this is we look at every job. We don't just give a quote over the phone.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to hate problems a little bit later, but
we got problems like that.
Yeah.
We got problems like that in Massachusetts where people are just giving out $1,300 jobs over the phone.
Yeah.
And you're going to have those people.
Yep.
But if they're going to look at a job, you need to feel the people out, as you were just talking about.
Yeah.
What are they going to pay?
Yep.
You give them a price range. And if they go, oh, okay, that's not too bad, you can go to the higher end.
Yeah.
If they go, oh, my God, that's really expensive, you go to the lower end.
Yeah.
If you can do the job for that price.
Yep. And I had a friend that was a wedding photographer, and I sent him some clients who they owned a local nursery, but they also did mail by order. They had a multi-million dollar business, a national business. And their daughter was getting married. Well, they go, and they're kind of eccentric people, and they're going over there, and they went to meet with them, and they showed up in sweatpants and sweatshirts, and they looked just ragged. And he's like, and he's like, well, we had this package and it's this much and this much. And he called me. He's like, why did you even send those people to me? Like he can't afford me. And then I'm like, I go, just wait. And then he calls
They
me.
got more money than you can think
he
of.
He goes, they just booked the largest package that I've ever made. I'm like, yeah, you're welcome.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. People who have money often, don't dress like it. People who don't, try to. So keep that in mind when you're, don't make the assumption for the customer. Give them value to what we're not trying to like. Oh, hey, we think you can charge more, so I'm going to pay more, so I'm going to charge more. It's I'm going to offer you something, and I don't know if it's going to work for you or not. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, then hey, I've got options that will work for you. And
well, that's why I say give them a price range.
Yeah.
Look at their reaction.
Exactly.
Listen for their reaction.
Yes. Listening is very important. Like it is one of those things where just say it and be quiet. You don't have to prove yourself.
Yep. Less is more sometimes.
Yeah. And so there's a value to it. So, all right, we'll pop on here. Our next thing, an option, and I don't know how many people are doing this, but doing ongoing monitoring. So, I've got my my little EcoSense guy here. So with today's monitoring devices, you can obviously have something that is remotely connected to you. So you can, as long as it's connected to their Wi-Fi, you can keep an eye on it for them. They don't have to think about it. You get the alarm, you get the notification if something happened, if it changed. It also gives you data on the work that you've done, so you can know that in the future and report back to the client. And so that is a convenience, right? That is a convenience for the customer so that they don't have to open up their app or they don't have to check it. They don't have to stay connected to it. This one of the ones I had, it got disconnected and I just didn't think about it. And so if you don't do that, like ongoing remote monitoring, you can offer a retest. You can offer if you are in a state where you can also do testing, or if you have a partnership with a tester locally, if you're like in Illinois where I'm at and you can't do mitigation and testing, then you can offer a retest price. I know that some guys will make sure that it's part of their actual warranty. So it's warranted if they or they'll extend their warranty if you do a retest every couple of years or something like that. So this is something that you can kind of take this idea and, somebody like me, we can sit there, we can flush it out, we can put it into a monthly subscription package that we create for the client, or an annual subscription that they're paying for. So there's some extra things that they can do, whether it's $5 a month or $10 a month or $15 a month, whatever it is. We'll make sure that it's taken care of for you. We'll pop in once a year. You can have we'll come and check your system. We'll do a system tune-up. We'll come out and make sure that you don't have any, dead animals in the fan, like that kind of stuff. And just make sure that everything's working as it should. That's obviously going to, extend the life of the fan if you're making sure that everything is good. If you've got, if you took their radon down to, below 2.5, and then, you come back, a year later and it's sitting at 3.5, or maybe it's, higher than that, then you can go back and you can say, hey, listen, I'm going to, if you pay this ongoing, whatever it may be, we'll make sure that it's fixed, right? Even though it's outside of the, of our warranty. So, you have to have enough of those that are not going to, this is like, when you go to Best Buy and you buy a toaster and they want you to get the extended warranty on it, right? That $15 on a $35 toaster, they're assuming that you're not going to have a problem with that. And that occasionally when it is, and they're going to ship you a new one, that it's going to, offset that. So just make sure that you really run those numbers, because there's a potential that you're going to be messing around, running around town doing retests and doing that's a good job for a new tech. That's a good job for an old tech who, doesn't want to get in crawl spaces anymore, but knows everything about everything. Yeah. And so that you can pop in and you can see from the driveway that there's something that needs to be fixed, and you can do it in 10 minutes, right? So the fan's not sitting level, like whatever it may be, right? Somebody, kids were playing, they ran into it, and it's, something like that kind of stuff. We can just keep an eye on it. And, and the benefit of that is you could do it around your schedule. So you can, when you're in that part of town, you're in that suburb, you're in that area, then you can do it at that time. So this one takes a little bit more effort, but long term, if you think, gosh, I've done 10,000 systems, imagine if I had 1,000 of them paying me $10 a month, right? You now have $10,000 a month coming in, and all you have to do is just make sure that, that once every 2 years, those are retested, or whatever that number is, or, and the ongoing monitoring, right? If you're going to buy, something that's remote, like let's say you can pick one of those up for $150, maybe your ongoing monitoring, it's $200 to, you add it to the package, and then it's $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever it may be. And that's literally all you do, is you're just keeping an eye on those. So try to look at some creative ways to, $10 a month from 1,000 people, is 6 figures a year. So like, don't sleep on that extra $120,000 because you have somebody in your office just flipping through and making sure all the systems are working. So that's ongoing monitoring. Those are the kind of like the additions, changes, or things that you can add to the systems. Our second kind of like phase on it is you're working smarter, creating efficiencies that will create more profit. So working faster isn't just about cutting payroll. It's about creating capacity. So I don't want you to work 7 hours in a day so you have an extra hour you're not paying people. I want you to add up 5 days, 5 hours, and now you've got another job. And that job, that $1,500 job, comes in, and you've now paid your guys. They're happy. You've made more money. Everybody, and you've served one more client. Saving 30 minutes matters most when those saved minutes become another job. So I want to get the same, more gross profit out of the same job. That's the goal. So how do we do that? We talked about what you're making per job. I'm going to flip that a little bit. Now I want you to think about measuring it for gross profit per crew hour. So when you have somebody on a job, what does that person cost you, and what does that person make? And when you start thinking about that, then you've got the profit per crew hour. And so if you're not just looking at, okay, well, if I go do a job, it's, $1,500 job, I make $750 profit, cool. But what happens when you bid out a $1,500 job that's 1 hour away? So you just added, 4 guys, $50. Now it's $200. Now your $750 profit dropped to, $550. And so those are the things that we want to look at, because that is how we increase, like, how long guys are on the job. How much does it cost? You want to have, some of you've got one really smart guy in a crew and 4 dumb guys, right? Because you figured out that that's the best way to pay, because you can pay the smart guy $75 an hour because he's willing to tolerate the 4 dumb guys that you pay $25 an hour. And they're just ripping through jobs. Some smart guys only want to work with one other smart guy because they don't want to talk to each other. They just want to go in and do the job. So your crews, your guys, how fast they work. And so that's the goal, is that we're looking at the crew hours, and what they're charging. So, use this metric. You want to look at the job types. So obviously, how fast your guys can do a crawl space. How fast they can do, those of you that, have these 100-year-old homes, and it's got, 19 different suction points on a 300 square foot basement, right? So what those things cost. What's the route of the job? Like, how far are they going? And what are they? What are the job that they need to do, and they're dealing with. It's got multiple, or you're at. Oh, we didn't put this in there. You're adding a sump pit, right? Because they don't have one. They've always had water in their basement, and that's something I don't want to do that, but maybe some of you guys are just loving installing sump pits. So when you start looking at this is really important. Job A and job B are not necessarily equal. Job A, where you make $2,000 and it took 8 crew hours, you made $250 an hour. You go, oh, that's not bad. But job B that pays less, that only took 5 crew hours, $1,700 for 5 crew hours, your revenue per crew hour was $340. So those of you who are like, you guys are good at mitigation. You can go into a house and get it. Like, if there's something below undetectable, you can do that, right? Some of you are not thinking, like, in your brain, $2,000 is better than $1,700, and you've got to break yourself of that, because you've got to break down what does this job cost me, but more so, how do I go get the job that pays better in this case a shorter amount of time. So, like, if I can book more job Bs, then I'm able to, and maybe the answer to this, and I haven't really talked about this, but like when we're talking about hiring and firing, getting a $340 per crew hour, maybe we knock that down to $300 and we pay our guys more, because now I can attract better talent. And so by getting guys that are smarter and they're just harder workers, like, you can put, when you start interviewing, you get a different candidate at $25 an hour than you do at 40 or 45 or even 50, right? And that guy that used to cost you 50 all in now costs you 80, but that guy, you don't even know he works for you, because he's like a thief in the night. He just shows up, does a mitigation, nobody even knows he was there, right? But he could do, by himself, he can do 9 in a day, right? They tell stories of him, right? And so we pay more for these guys because we know that because they're capable, right? So that's the thing that we want to focus on. So what can we do here? We are little things. Stop the bonus supply runs, right? Never make us run back to the shop or to a supply house during a job. That $6, fern coat that that you forgot costs way more than $6. You had to drive, you had the fuel, momentum. It when you take a break, even sometimes for lunch, and come back, the second half of the day feels different. If you would have just burned through that job and got it done and ate a late lunch, or better yet, because now your guys are hungry and you're making them eat lunch late every day, you start earlier, because they're all morning people and they can get going, and the home is vacant, so you can start at 6:30 if you wanted to. So the lost production, a later finish, it makes a big difference, and especially if you just go, it was only 30 minutes back to back and forth to the shop. Factor in all that 30 minutes probably cost you $100. So,
yep.
And so there are ways, if this is happening a lot in your business, make sure that you are addressing it. Make sure you're figuring out why, and, make sure, it's on the truck. Make sure there's a checklist that that's for the job. Have 2 of everything in case you break something while you're there. Have extras. Know where the closest place is. Some of you drive past Lowe's and Home Depot to get to the third place when Lowe's is more expensive. Well, yeah, but you drove 10 minutes further. So that 10 minutes actually cost you an extra $30 for that dollar savings in PVC. So, keep that in mind. I like this. Make every truck, identical. So if you have multiple crews, so this means it has the same tools on it. It has the same bins with stuff in it. It has the same fittings, same location inside the truck for everything. There are clear labels that people can find something. So any guy can pop on any truck and they can see they know exactly where to find the thing they need. And then when that truck goes back, somebody is making sure that that truck has, size, 4-inch to 3-inch fern coats. It has, it has 2 Mavericks and one, Eagle Extreme. Well, like whatever it may be, it has everything you need. It has 4-inch pipe. It has, all your wire. It has, a can of black spray paint, whatever it may be, right? Because you want to make sure that they didn't get there and like, oh man, I didn't grab the truck I normally have. I normally have this stuff in there. So that's fine. Find the the person in your company with OCD and give them this job. They will love you for it. And then they will hate everyone else for screwing it up. But at least it'll be right when the day starts. Then what can we do to save time on the job? One of the things you could do, pre-build what you can at the shop. So wire up your fan at the shop if you can. Wire up, put stuff together. You know what you're building, and so those things that you can put one coupler on the end of one piece of PVC, right? It's not much, but you can have it there and you can do it in a controlled environment. Your office staff during downtime can be putting these things together. If you are putting together packets or flyers or stuff that, you set out, these are things that you can make sure are done ahead of time. So it's faster, it's cleaner, it's probably more comfortable. You can have the TV on while you're working on it, have the radio on, you're not bothering anybody. And then when you get to the job, those things are done. So pre-build what you can. And again, it might shave off 10 or 15 minutes. It's not much, but if it shaves that off for 20 minutes, then we can start adding these up and we can get to a more efficient job. So here's where I'm going to offend probably 75% of people, and I'm also going to say that I don't believe in this. Please don't not hire me in Service Booster because I said this out loud, but this is an option, and that is to quote remote, right? Or remote quote. So here's what I'm seeing from my guys in rural areas. My guys in rural areas are driving for an hour or 90 minutes because they want that job, and they are driving and they're doing 2 to 3 hours round trip, and that tells me that you don't value your own time. And so they're like, well, it doesn't cost me anything because I'm like, yeah, but you have a value to you, so don't do that. And so I would figure that if you can do something else that we have said previously in this webinar, that something else can add $50 or $100 or $200 to other jobs, then and if you can save yourself those 2 hours, and people are like, oh, Ben, I wouldn't get the job if I didn't go and do it. I get that. You can probably discount the job. Like you can discount the job that little bit by doing and here's what I'm going to say at the bottom, and this is kind of the caveat, and this is hard. Not everybody can do this. It's preparing the client for a potential change in the quote based on information not provided. And that is a hard pill to swallow, and I get that. And if you can say to somebody, hey, you could overquote it, and you can always come down and make the client very happy, right? So if you think that this is going to be an $1,800 job, you can quote it for $2,300, and you get there and there's something they didn't tell you or something that made it worth $200 more. You can come down from $2,300 to $2,000. And yes, you can absolutely say, I quoted them to $2,300. They were willing to pay $2,300, and that's what I charged them. Yes. But the last slide that we're going to talk about is how do you get referrals? And when you are able to cut off something because you didn't have to do it, and you didn't accidentally charge the client, or you didn't charge the client for it, they are going to tell everyone in that 90-minute away job area that, and so maybe you stack up 2 or 3 jobs the next time in that area, and you could do a couple and come home. So use FaceTime. Those of you in states that you're not doing the testing, or you're getting the test from somebody else, call your testers and just be like, listen, hey, can you just take a dozen photos for me? Can you do a way, like, I will give you $10 per photo. Like, make it a trick for them. Because if you can get photos, if you can get a schematic, if you can get real measurements, if the tester can walk through with their phone in their hand and narrate it and say, hey, this is like, have the tester go on some quotes with you and say, hey, these are the things that I'm looking at that really change the way this bid is. If you look into the crawl space, and that crawl space has the furnace laying on its side, and I have to like deal with that. Like, you didn't mention that in your thing. That really makes a big difference. So, do a FaceTime, get the tester to give you, better, more accurate information. And that will make for better quotes. You will be competing against people who are willing to quote in person. So this is not a foolproof plan, but it's possible, if you are getting enough leads in, that you don't have to deal with as many of those, and those are ones that you can do remotely. If you are quoting in person, which again, it's you want to have somebody who is smart enough in your company and experienced enough to quote it, but is also not someone that would make your jobs go faster, right? So you don't want to pull off your foreman to be quoting jobs when he should be on a job at that time. It is possible that you send 2 trucks to the job, and if you've got 4 guys on there and one of them, your foreman, is also somebody that can quote, the 3 guys go on to the next job and get started, and your foreman hits 2 houses on the way to the next job and does quotes, right? So scheduling and making sure that the path on getting those quotes and getting an accurate quote for an accurate price, that stuff really does matter. Absolutely. It's important. And it is a way to increase your revenue as well. Because again, when I talked about walking through and seeing the leaky faucet, the stuck door, that kind of stuff, you don't get to see that stuff if you're doing it remotely. Then you're there and you're like, well, hey, you can spend more money with me if I just walk through here. So it becomes less of an altruistic, like, hey, I can really be helpful, right? So yeah.
I'll interrupt you for a second then, Ben, is when you're initially talking to the customer on the phone, one thing is this job for a sale of the house, or is it for the people that are living there? If it's for the sale of the house, they're looking for the lowest price. They really don't care about anything else.
Yep.
They just want to sell the house. They want the lowest price to put the system in. They don't even care if it works.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So you're going, those are the type of jobs you may be able to quote more remotely, because you know that a competitor in your area is just going to quote them rock bottom just to get a job.
Yep.
And in my area, though, a lot of the mitigators, they're the electrical's included in it. There are no licensed electricians that are on these mitigation teams that I can know of.
Yeah.
And I've made a lot of calls.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things where you may get beaten out a lot of times because you're trying to do the job the right way. You're not quoting the electrical as portion of it. And all of a sudden you find out they're looking for a coupon. Yeah. That's what these people are doing. They're testing because I'm selling my house and I just want to know, what should I give the buyers the credit for?
Yeah.
So they're saying, oh, well, I got a quote on the phone for $1,350.
Yeah.
And we'll give you a credit for $1,350 on the job. The $1,350 guy comes out there and finds out there's so much more to do.
Yep.
And all of a sudden the price just went up by another $300, $400, $500.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to be careful. The remote quoting to me is this for a house sale or is it for people living in the house?
Yeah.
People are living in the house, they will tend to pay more money for a system than a person selling a house.
Yeah. And in all honesty, we've talked about this over and over and over again when David's been on here. When I first met David over a decade ago, and we started doing marketing for his mitigation company, and I knew nothing about radon. He said there are two groups of people that are getting radon mitigation. One is for sale of a house, and one are concerned homeowners. And he goes,
Yep.
he said 90% of the jobs are for home sales. He goes 10% are concerned homeowners. He goes, we have made 90% of our business that 10%. He said that is all we want. He said because those people they want a better job. They're willing to pay more. They respect it. They are the ones that are living there. It's important to them. And I'm like, okay, so you want to go after the harder to and he's like, yeah, he goes, that's what we built our business on, because, real estate agents come and go, and, you may get one that's, hot to trot, and then another radon guy comes in and does a kickback to them. Right. Or they come in and they're $100 cheaper. So they start going with them. He's like, he goes, I'll do the real estate work when it comes, but I'm not going after it. And right. So that is the kind of thing where I'm like, I get that. And, the good news is that, no one that's made, real estate all of their work is watching this videos because they're too busy out there doing jobs for $100 worth of profit. And so right now we just have guys that are, that it's 4:00 on a Friday in Illinois, they're still going to be working for 4 or 5 more hours because they, have to have money to make it to Monday. No, you can be profitable on real estate work. It's just a different animal. And you take that business and, obviously my wife, who's a realtor, has more knowledge about radon than anybody in, any other realtor in this town. Because she's helped me develop content about it for over a decade. And like when we bought our house, we put that David Smith would be the mitigator if it tested high. Now, I guarantee we're the only person that has written a contract like that in our town, but it mattered to us, right? And so if you can get that information out there and people understand it, then they will appreciate it. You'll get get better job, and even better if you can say, hey, listen, let's involve the buyer of the house into the decision making here, right? And so here are some things, they're going to get a credit for $1,350, but what if we add this and this and this? We'll go right to the buyer. The buyer wants to have the pipe painted, or all this kind of stuff that you can do. It's more work, but hey, if you have somebody in your office and they get a hold of the buyer's agent and they can get a hold of say, listen, we're ultimately working for you, for the buyer, here's what we could do. So there's ways even in that to make some extra money. But yes, the quoting when it's a sale of a house, you're right, and so that's one that we want to make sure that it makes it clear if this is going to be worth your time, and you should also have some statistics. Here are how many that I've gone remotely and quoted and got. Here's how many that I did, in person and got, and we make adjustments to that in the same way that we're tracking all of your phone conversations and your emails and stuff, and going, hey, if you just made this small change in the way that you responded to a customer, or you asked them this question, you're going to get 10% more jobs, right? It's sometimes it's not the leads, it's the making sure that you're doing the best thing you can with the leads. So, all right, we'll move on so we don't go too far into this. This kind of is in the remote side of it, which is give your foreman, give the person who's in charge, that's going to be on the site, give them a preview as best you can. So give them all the details so they're not just walking into a house and they're like, oh, I wonder where I'm going to, put the suction point. I wonder what I'm going to do. Give them the quote, give them photos, give them a routing plan if there's one design. Any special requests, make sure they know the names of the customers if they're there on, any obstacles they're going to be dealing with, any special material requirements. Get that. Some of these guys that are like really, logical thinkers, They want to sleep on this for a day before. They want to be thinking about it on the drive over. They want to know when they go in that they can just like airdrop in and start doing their job. They can have a team meeting in the truck on the way over with the guys going, okay, this one's got 2 suction points. It's, this house was built in 1895 and it's going to, and it's been added on 17 times. Right. And so here's what we've got going in. Here's, and this goes back to whoever's quoting it. If you're on site, take some pictures. Don't just sketch some stuff down. Because if you're not going to be the person that's going to be there, that is something that you can give to your person. It also is a CYA because you're taking pictures before you do any work or even walk into the house. You have pictures of the status of the house prior to you being there. You know where it's going to be. You can send it back to the homeowner and say, hey, this is where it's going to exit out of the side of your house. And the homeowner looks at that and goes, that's not where we talked about, right? And so, but this is, you don't have a basement anywhere near where you want it, right? And you can deal with those things so that you don't have someone on the job who is, arguing with the customer or something or making a change because customer didn't fully understand what was happening. So those kinds of things that you can tell your foreman, tell your crew, and they just go in and they know exactly what to do. I reduce the driveway meetings and the what are we doing here kind of conversation.
One thing I will say, just to add on to what you're talking about, before you drill your first pilot hole out of that house, go get the customer, show them where the pit's going to be, show them the routing of the pipe, show them where the fan's going to be on the outside, make sure they know what it looks like. Yeah. Because all of a sudden you drill that hole, you put that fan out there, they go, I didn't know it looked like that.
Yeah. What's a radon mitigation system? These are people that learned about radon a week ago, right? And so, you don't take what for granted. Don't take don't take what has to go into it, for granted. So, that's a absolute great point. This is also really important. Put the right crew member on the right job. Do not have your skilled guy that is either on the roof or in the attic or putting the fan together or whatever it may be. Don't have him running and getting PVC pipe out of that guy should be working 100% of the time. This goes back to my $50 guy an hour and my $20 guy an hour. There's a $20 guy an hour whose only job it is to just carry stuff and sweep and put caulk down in cracks and not mess that up. So anything that is, repeatable, that person knows what to do. If you are the kind of company that's excavating, under your suction point, I know that David Smith pulls out 3 5-gallon buckets of dirt to make a pit under there. Who's carrying that out? Because it should not be your $50 an hour guy. You should know what it costs you to have that guy walk up to the truck and back from the basement. And if that is a 5-minute, start thinking billing like your attorney does, right? Your attorney bills in 6-minute increments because there's 10 of them in an hour. So if you took that $50, divided it by 10, that costs you $5 for that guy to walk up to the truck and back, right? 6-minute trip. Now have your grunt work guy do it, and now it costs $2.50. It's you start adding those up, and that 10 trips you just made $25 on that job. Disclaimer, you didn't actually make it, but you saved yourself the time because that guy that you pay more was able to keep doing his job. And so it's the anticipation, right? That I know I am going to need this. So while I'm working on this, then that guy is going and getting that next thing. He's bringing down the shop vac. He's bringing down the core driller. He's bringing down, it's what are the ways that you can change the order in which you work so that okay, you said before you drill a hole in the house and the wall, is that the first thing that needs to happen or the last thing that needs to happen? Depending on the way you order stuff, Like, you have to figure out, what can I do to shave off 15 minutes on this job? And that doesn't mean riding your guys and making them work harder or faster. It means being efficient. Like, you don't need to be a jerk to your guys and be like, oh, if you only worked harder, we could get more jobs. They're getting paid the same per hour. They don't care. So, but what you can say is, if we add one extra job per week, you can look at that data and go, listen, like, this crew does 10 jobs per week, right? And if we, or 9 jobs. And if we do a 10th, or for every job we do over 10 of these jobs, everybody's going to get $100, right? Like, or whatever it is, right? And so now your guys are like, yeah, what can we do to be more efficient? When they are incentivized, and we get a bit to the end of it and go, okay, well, how do we get more reviews? If they're incentivized, then they are bought in on the mission of making it more efficient and more money. Because, when you get to repeat it, when expenses go down, profits go up, right? And so that's the thing we want to do. So don't have your skilled people doing stupid jobs. This was the dumbest guy I could find a picture of, because this is your $20 an hour guy whose only job it is to carry stuff in and out of the house. Just, that's all he does. And then also, your stupid guy is responsible for a callback, because he didn't check that the sump pump was plugged back in. Right now, you have a real problem. He didn't check. So have a checklist. Have I'm adding time by saying add this $10, but this line, a callback is basically a second job with $0 in new revenue. Like, when you have people that work for you offer to have that tattooed on their forehead, a callback is a second job with no revenue. So if you don't have a checklist at the end of it, that you have 2 people checking it off, because the first person just went through and wasn't sure, is the sump pump plugged in? Is the manometer like, some of y'all forget to put the manometer in, right? Did you put labels on it? Did you put a critter guard on the top of it? Did you leave something on the countertop to explain, the homeowner wasn't there? Did you pick up all your stuff? If you left a tool there, if you left a $40 tool on, like, it's cheaper for you to leave it there than probably to go back and get it. Like, and that sounds horrible, but when you start getting down to what it costs, like, you just donated a tool to that household, because it's more expensive for you to drive back over there and get it, or send a crew over and get it. I have this, and like, I bought something at Best Buy, and I'm like, I'm just going to send my kid to go pick it up, because by the time I go and do it, like, it's just a stupid little thing, but like, by the time I drive over there, and if I don't have a reason to leave the house or drive over that way, I'm going to spend 45 minutes. Drive over, park, walk in, find one person in the store that wants to help somebody, get my thing, come back, get back to the car, come back home. That's 45 minutes. And I bill, my old web design clients $175 an hour. So I know what my cost is. And so I'm losing money if I go do that, right? That's a double-edged sword, because then in the middle of the day, when you want to go lay in your pool like I do right now and it's 90 degrees, I'm laying in my pool at 2 o'clock going, gosh, I'm missing out on $175, but I'll work later. So yeah, it's one of those things where make sure that you're not doing things that are going to cause you future profit. Callbacks for stupid stuff because it didn't get done is one thing. Callbacks because you didn't do a good enough job mitigating is a different one. So there are tools that you can use, whether it's a sniffer, whether it's, the Radon Eye Pro was the one I used when I had my testing company. That gave me a reading in 15 minutes. So there may be a value into plugging that in as soon as you get to the job and see if those numbers are going down as you're cleaning up. In theory, you've got 15 minutes at least after you've got your, fan up and running and everything's sealed up and you're packing it up, don't leave that, because then it becomes a $700 problem to leave behind. But that is something that you can be like, yeah, it's this is working. We know it's working. I'm getting good numbers. The sniffer can do that too. It can give you some better things. So if you're going back because you're getting high tests, afterwards, like, maybe this isn't the job for you, but maybe like let's get you with David Smith. Let's get you with and guys, some of you that have done 10,000, 20,000 systems, like you don't even think about it. But remember where you were, when when Radon just came out, right? When it just appeared and no one knew about it before, and you're gonna be the person to solve it. It's those difficult homes, those difficult places. We want to make sure that you're doing things, and the easy homes. Let's make sure that those of you that are living in these new communities that every home was built this year. Let's make sure that you're. It's not just getting it down to 3.9. You're actually doing something that's really beneficial to the family. So as we go through that, the last thing, like when we talk about 60 minutes, that might be 10 minutes loading the truck. That might be 15 minutes being more organized and you're efficient in the order in which you do things. 15 minutes, because the crew knew the requirements ahead of time and they weren't trying to figure it out once they got there. Or 20 minutes standardizing and pre-building, all the things we talked about. That could be an hour off of one installation. And, if you've got, if a crew is doing 6, 7, 8, 10, that's like we're adding 10 hours. We're adding 6 hours. We're adding enough to do 1 or 2 more for that crew every single week. And just using that number where I made up at the beginning, a $1,500 job that makes you $750, profit, that's $1,500 extra a month. Plus your guys got paid more because they had more work for them to do, or they got paid the same depending. And so that's where we got to talk about like some type of bonus or something for them, because in theory, they're doing the same amount of work or the same hours. And you're able to get in front of a couple more people, get a few more jobs done. It's a big difference. And so when we, those are the 10 things, we get to this bonus thing about making more by spending less. And that's where we say, the next job can be more profitable before it starts. The cheapest lead that you have is the one that your last customer sends you. If I said earlier in this that you might spend $125 acquiring a customer, right? And you factor that into your business model, and everything else is $125. If you can knock down your acquisition cost, then that's just pure profit, right? So that $1,500 job that you're making $1,375, that whatever, it's now a $1,500 job that you're making $1,450 because you only spent $50 acquiring the customer, or whatever it may be. So what can we do to get more customers from the job that we're doing? Obviously, customer number 1 is more profitable when they help you get number 2. So ask for the review, get that review while the customer is there. They love you. Make referrals easy. What are you doing to make it easy for them to pass it along? Do you give a QR code? Do you give something that they can pass out? Do you give a Facebook post that they can share with their friends? Are you on Instagram and you snap a picture of you and the customer and tag the customer so the customer goes in and they share it? Do you enter them into a contest because for every one of these you share, like that you give away free pizza for their family or something like that? Using before and after photos so people can see what you're doing. Building relationships with realtors and other referral partners. Obviously, those of you that are just in mitigation and not testing, getting those testers, because when I'm in the home as a tester, I've got time. I'm just straight up having a conversation. The homeowner is there. I'm sitting there. They want to know what this thing is. I've got to give them some rules to, that especially in a real estate transaction, I've got to say, hey, listen, and as a tester, if you don't as a mitigator, you should be telling your tester this, because you're going to get the tester more business. When you are testing the seller's home and the seller is there and the seller is pissed that you're, testing the house for radon, you go, oh, what did your home you're buying test at? Right? Well, we're not testing it. Well, let me tell you a little bit about radon. And you don't know if it's high here. We're going to find that out here in a few days. But let's tell you about radon and the dangers of it. And here's my card. If you want to test the house that you're buying, here's $50 off, or here's whatever. And I'll tell you, it does matter who mitigates it. I've worked with a bunch of mitigators, and I can tell you I've tested ones after some of them are done, and I wouldn't want them in my house. And you're going to live in this house. It looks like you have kids here, and they sleep in the basement. Oh yeah. Let me tell you what it's like. Your kids all smoke, right? And you just start having that, conversation with them as a tester. And now that tester is a gateway to the next job by testing their next house. You've now got them on board where they kind of feel a little bit like, hey, listen, I know that maybe you have a contentious sale, whatever, but it's a family moving in here, and you are doing something for them that is potentially going to save their life. And yeah, it costs money. I'm sorry about that, but you should go to sleep tonight knowing that you're saving lives by allowing this to happen. And if you have to have it, like, it does matter who comes in and does this. You can have something broke. You can have a broken window, right? Be upset about that because your kid broke it and you forgot about it, and now you got to fix it before you sell the house. Get the tester involved, because that's going to give you that opportunity to get those other jobs from the testers and for them to tee you up. And when I'm standing there, especially with a concerned homeowner, that's a completely different animal. Because now I'm standing with a concerned homeowner who just learned about radon. I'm saying, listen, there's 10 different mitigators here in town, but there's only one I'd work with. They have mitigated 2 of my homes. They've mitigated my office. They mitigated the guy who owned my office. He took my cranium home and he tested his house, and it did their house. They did my in-laws' house. They did every house of everyone that I can tell them about. I wouldn't have anybody else do this in my home. It's that important.
I'll interrupt. Yeah. I have to go pick up a radon monitor, so I have to leave.
Thank you, Christopher. Yep.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. We'll see you.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All right. Just make sure that you're doing that with the testers, right? Because the tester is that person who is going to be the person who is going to get in front of your exact customer. They are absolutely the person who is going to give you the greatest amount of business. I don't like doing kickbacks for testers for that referral, but man, there are some nice things that you can do for them, because I want the tester to give an honest whatever. If that's your business model, you can do it. That's fine. That's not mine, and that's perfectly fine. But there's absolutely things that you can do. As in Illinois, I see both sides of the call. I see the testing calls, and I see the mitigation calls, because people don't know that you can't do either one. And because I'm really, really good at ranking people at the top of, Google. When I had my testing company, it was the Miller Radon, and then it was David Smith Radon, and we just went back and forth on number 1 and number 2. And so with that said, I'm going to get calls for mitigation all day long. He's going to get calls for testing all day long. And that's a nice relationship that we can pass those back and forth if you don't do both. And if you're there doing testing, obviously you can explain to people, hey, listen, you can get other mitigation quotes. Absolutely, you should. I'm probably going to be the most expensive one. And let me tell you why. Because, here's what I'm going to do. This is what's different, those kinds of things. Building relationships with other realtors. We talked about that. Yard signs. Those of you who can do a job in 90 minutes, having your truck, wrapped truck out there, yard sign out there. It's not out there long enough. People aren't home during the day. They don't see it. However, if you have a customer that loves you, you can put a yard sign in there and make it, really easy to understand. This family's, breathing better. ABC Radon Company, something like that. it's not my favorite thing, but I like it. We do one of the things you can do is you can get some door hangers. Take 10 minutes, walk the street, put door hangers on that just say, "Hey, we're in the neighborhood. A house in your neighborhood tested really high for radon. Have you had yours tested? Here's a $50 coupon to have it tested," whatever it may be. And then, obviously, referrals number one thing to your validity, making sure that you know people are seeing you on Google. It's huge for Google. So use a company like Service Booster or another company that can do automated referral follow-ups. So after the job is done, you're able to go back and ask for the referral, give them easy links. We send them text messages, we send them emails, we let them know how easy it is to get that referral. And then with that said, you now have future interactions with them. So you are sending them, Christmas card, Thanksgiving, Happy New Year, whatever it may be. Check your radon, check your manometer, just some reminders that you're who you are and what you did. Especially if you did a job for a house that you didn't know the buyer. And so the seller paid you, or it was in the real estate transaction. That's one where you're going to go in and maybe mail something to the house or leave something there that says, "Hey, we did this. If you have questions, give us a call. We'd love to come by and explain it." That kind of stuff. So we want to make sure that we're getting that in there. So that's the bonus, the bonus tip. I'm going to challenge you with this. What can you do? Today's Friday. What can you do on Monday that will start adding more value, more time, more money for every job? So pick one add-on. Just pick one. Just pick one thing that you can add on and upgrade and offer consistently to every job. And you can just put that on there. Something that you can do that you can, even if it's something simple, that you can make $50 more a job, $100 more a job. And you'll give some ideas, and you'll get an idea with your customers, what they think that, they see value in. Not everybody wants a muffler. Not everybody wants the cover. Not everybody wants the pipe painted. Not everybody wants the, whatever it may be. You can do, priority booking, right? We'll be there tomorrow for $100, whatever it may be. I don't like that idea. I'm shooting from the hip. Pick one repeated task, something you do over and over and over again. And something as simple as, we carry these items to the basement. Okay. What is it that we can carry to the basement in a different way to make it faster? What is something that we can carry up? So maybe you don't bring the pipe down until you've excavated the dirt. So a trip up brings something back. You should never have a trip going either way empty-handed. What is something, if you, one thing I liked about David Smith's mitigation company, they put down drop cloths all over the basement stairs, all the way through the front door. So their feet never touched anything that wasn't a drop cloth. Obviously in the basement, it's a little bit different. But is the person that's putting down the drop cloth the highest paid employee or the least paid employee? We want to start measuring profit per crew hour. We want to make sure that we know what people are doing in the per crew hour, and what that value is. So how do we increase that? And that build one automatic review or referral step into the job completion. So what is the thing that we can have at the end, so that it can generate that review, get the referral, ask them, who's one person that would like a free radon test, right? Who do you know that if you gifted it to them, and we'll do it for free. Maybe you can do a radon test cheaper than what your cost per acquisition is. So if you know that you've got extra tests, or you could do a charcoal test, or you could do something that you just have a ton of tests and you can drop them all over. Your cost to run a test is $15, and your cost per acquisition on a normal job through Google Ads is $125. Okay, let's give out some free tests. So what are those things that we can do? So all right, we want to make more, work faster, spend less. Don't just ask how can I charge, $200 more. It's not that simple. It's not just I'm going to charge $200 more. It's how can I make $200 more and get my crew to the next job sooner? Because sometimes your profit is by doing more jobs. Some of it is by charging more for the job. Some of it is just in those efficiencies and things that you can do. So that's the whole thing. I'm looking to check and see. I haven't seen any comments on Facebook or on YouTube, and I don't see anything in the chat here on Zoom. So it has been a pleasure here today. And like I said, David, I'm sure we'll be back next week, and you guys can talk about all the fun fans and suction points and things and stuff like that I know just enough about to be dangerous. But I appreciate you guys for jumping in and being part of this. And I want to serve as many people that want to make more money, and that want to serve as many people that want radon reduced in their house. And so if we're doing these, that there's the benefit of not only can you have a more successful business, but also we can serve more people. And those of you who are doing a great job at this, I want to get you building and growing your companies so that you can do more of it. And so that's where we just get up into all of your business and say, what are we doing that's really, really well that we can duplicate and blow up and make it bigger? What are the things that need some work that we can address and make them more efficient or better? And in the process of doing that, we're going to save more lives. And so that's the goal, right? So those of you who are interested in going in deeper with this, give me a call, send me an email anytime. It's just ben@servicebooster.com. And I would absolutely love to talk with you and go into detail, and we can see how we can help. So thank you guys so much for watching today, and we will see you next Friday. Have a great weekend. Talk to you guys soon.